Hello, I'm Herm Gailey. Over the last couple years, we've shot a lot of videos here in what I call my pen. The fact is, it's a pen that's not a pen. People have questioned why I don't have sides on it. Right now, if you pan around there a little bit, you'll see we don't have one end on it either. So it's pretty freeform. We're just renewing that fence, which had gotten pretty bad. We're going to do that in next. But there's no fence here, and if you look over there, you'll see that split rail fence. It's a little bit of an optical illusion because the pen ends 30 to 40 feet before you actually get to that. That's just a pasture fence. If I had my druthers, I probably would have moved it back even a little further, but we wanted to maximize our pasture space as well. So there's a reason why I don't have sides on the pen. It's not just that I was too lazy to put them on, although that might be a factor. It's not just the expense, although I have never paid for sides on the pen, and I welcome that. More so, though, it's because I have more options available to me if the pen doesn't have sides. So I'm in about the geometric center of this side of the pen. Guess what? This might be the gate today. So we can enter this pen anywhere we want. What that basically does is it does away with gate sourness. Many times I'll enter down there, but other times I'll just ride over to the far side and come in that way. I don't need a gate. I can enter anywhere, and they're far less likely to be magnetized to a gate that doesn't exist unless you are so stuck in your ways that you always come and go the same place. The same thing is true for leaving this pen. A lot of times I'll ride up there toward that pine tree, exit there, but other times I'll exit over here. Rarely do I exit right there closest to our barn. So you don't have that gate issue to deal with, which is refreshing. The other thing I've found, people say, well, you ride young horses, don't they just stampede out of your riding area? Well, if they do, I need to know because I'm going to be riding them out there. And I find they learn to guide a little more purely when they have a limited amount of fence to lean on to contain them. Logical question would be, well, if you're so down on fence, why did you fence the ends? Well, for many, many years I showed reiners. Typically you want to be able to gallop fence to fence because when you show your horse, you're going to have to do rundowns end to end. You want your horse comfortable approaching a fence. So that's why I've always had ends on it. Plus, I like to work on rollbacks off a fence. That gives me a nice long stretch of fence and I can work on rollbacks. But by the same token, we don't have the sides, so we're not as completely contained. So that's a real plus, because if you're riding around here, and let's just suppose my horse is falling in here. Well, I can not only turn him back, I can ride him right out of the pen. And I do. Another benefit, and I'm just going to go right back in through another one of my many gates. Another benefit is every riding area has a scary end or a scary side. It's almost universal. For us, it's the woods. The trees are moving, they make creaking noises. Some of these more performance-bred horses are sensitive enough that if a squirrel farts in the woods, they jump. So if I want to get up there and say, hey, let's investigate that squirrel, I don't have to go down there, let's say, to a gate. I can just say, you don't like this end of the pen? Well, let's go there. And I'll ride them out. and I can circle them right through the area they're scared of. I can rest them here. I can stand here for a while. If they're nervous, I'll work them till they're tired and bring them up here and let them blow. You know, if I'm doing something down there I need to do and they get a little winded, they come up here where they were scared, and there they stand. And that has really helped to eliminate some of that spookiness, because you can go right where they are most worried and make it more pleasant, or at the very least expose them to it more directly. Because a lot of times horses fear the thing that they're aware of but can't see more than if they're directly in the midst of it. So those are some things that really I find helpful with not having sides on the pen. And particularly with young horses, if I'm teaching them to move out and trot and so on, I may just leave the pen. Now the driveway is surfaced with stone dust. It's gravel, it is not paved. So it's safe to trot across it. But I'll take them up here and they'll see things they're scared of. It exposes them more instead of just mindlessly going around and around the pen. He's looking at a big slab of wood up here. Go on. Go on through, bud. So that's an object lesson right there of a horse who is a little worried about some things outside the pen, and getting him exposed is a good thing. He's still fairly young. He needs to learn to tolerate those things. If you just ride your horse in that box, they'll only be broke in that box. So I'll bring him in and out. I might go down here and say, you can just get out of the pen. You can come back in. And there are times when I will take my horse out here in the field and I'll work him out there for a while. It's a good change of pace for him. I'll bend him around, trot some circles, put him up in the bridle. Not just drilling them in the ring, but moving them around in real life a bit. And you might not do this if it was slick. You might not do it if you're going to destroy the field. But a good part of the time I can come right on out here, work on getting this guiding a little bit better in the bridle, not just in the same old riding area. But if you worked your horse out there for a good while, I might reverse that trend. Instead of resting him out there, I might take him in the pen and say, now, rest here. And all of a sudden the pen is a much nicer place to be. So those are some thoughts. If I decide to leave here, I can head right for the woods. So that's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to leave the pen through one of my gates and go for a trail ride. See you next time.